Now, from Wish TV, this is The Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine. Coming up tonight, we keep rolling along as spring sports approach the end of the regular season. And we're talking all things Hamilton County sports from this year. Plus, kicking the stigma. Pro athletes talk with high schoolers about the importance of mental health.
One out, and she gets all of that one. Is that going to be out? And it is! That's a grand slam there!
It's time to get into the swing of an all-new Zone Extra right now.
Hi, everybody, and good evening to you. Welcome to the Zone Extra. I'm Anthony Calhoun. What a great week of high school sports action as state tournaments are almost upon us here in the great state of Indiana. Coming up tonight, we have a great conversation about all things Hamilton County high school sports. Richie Hall of the Hamilton County Reporter is here for a great conversation. Can't wait for that. Plus, our on-campus feature tonight spotlights of former Avon star offensive lineman and new Houston Texan Blake Fisher. And kicking the stigma, pro athletes come together with current high school students to discuss mental health. Now, let's take a look at this week in high school sports. Well, yesterday afternoon, it was the City Baseball Championship from Victory Field. Cathedral taking on Bishop Chatard. Ethan Dorsey on the mound for the Irish, and the Wiggles out of a jam in the top of the fourth, and he gets the punch out of the end there in the end. Irish bats come alive, though, in the home half of the inning. Already up 1-0, make it a 2-0 here as the double steal works to perfection. Max Linder gets in under the tag. The senior is, he's fired up about that. Still in the bottom of the fourth we go. Patrick Mazer here singles through the left side for an RBI single there. Cathedral scores 6 runs on the 2 hits in the fourth, and they're going to win it. Final score, 7-0 is the final. How about more baseball for you? Saturday it was a Hoosier Crossroads doubleheader clash between Avon and Noblesville. Game 2, top of the third, McCoy Folk here singles up the middle for the Millers. That scores a run. Noblesville leads 3-0 at that point. Avon battles back though. A 1-run game in the fifth. Joe Glander's pitch gets away from the catcher. Keegan Grubbs comes in to score. The game's outside there at 3. We go to extra innings, top of the 8th there. Aiden Reynolds, the base hit to left. That scores Trevor Corbett, and Noblesville gets the win. 4-3 is the final in that one. Okay, so here's a look at this week's Class 4A baseball coaches poll. Number 1, see Center Grove there. The Trojans there, the top-ranked team in 4A. Number 2, Noblesville there. Second right now in the rankings there. You got Mooresville, 3. Floyd Central, 4. And then you got McCutcheon rounding out the top 5 there in the 4A baseball coaches poll. All right, to softball now, where we are into the final couple of weeks of the regular season. In fact, sectional play, folks, begins less than 2 weeks from now on May the 20th. Monday evening on the Diamond, it was Martinsville hosting Edgewood, and bottom of the first, Maya Lewis here finds the gap in the left center field. That hit scores Ava Pemberton, and the Artesians there, they strike first. At top of the third, Mustangs battle back. Maddie Bland singles to left. That scores a run, and Edgewood takes a 3-2 lead. But Martinsville responds in the bottom of the inning. You got Lambert here. That is deep to left, and it's gone. Yeah, grand slam. And Martinsville gets the victory. Final score, 12-4. All right, last Friday, it was a good one at Mooresville, that is, as the 5th-ranked Pioneers hosted Carmel. Scoreless in the bottom of the third. Zoe Kugelman here chops one to second. It gets through and 2-run scores. Mooresville takes the lead. Bases loaded in the top of the 6th here. Mia Fleming here sends one to left center. That goes to the fence there. All 3 runs, and Carmel takes a 4-2 lead there with that scoring. 7th inning, you got Alex, long stretch here, doubles to right field. Another run scores for the Hounds, and they win it. Final score, 6-5 is the final. The Greyhounds get the win. Now, let's check out this week's Class 4A softball coaches poll here. Number 1, Lake Central Castle out of Southern Indiana. They're ranked 2 this week. New Pal, ranked 3rd. Ron Colley, there they are, ranked 4th. And then you see Mooresville rounding out the top 5 there in the 4A softball coaches poll. All right, meanwhile, the girls lacrosse action from a Friday evening at number 1 in the 1A. Park Tudor hosting unbeaten Brownsburg. At first quarter, Dogs turn it over, and Park Tudor takes advantage here. Lauren Riker, the shot and the goal. Panthers take a 2-0 lead there. Later in the second quarter, here now, Park Tudor gets it going here. Natalie Hansen, who finds the back of the net. Panthers led 8-0 at halftime. Fourth quarter, check out the great team play here from Park Tudor. That sets up here Wallace for the second goal of the game. 7 players score for the Panthers, and they hand Brownsburg its first loss of the season. Park Tudor wins this one. Big win. Look at that. 16-3 is the final. And boys action, last Friday was a rematch of last year's 2A championship. Number 1 Carmel taking on number 3 HSC. It was senior night for the Royals. First quarter, Hounds looking good. Bridge Griffin with the shot and the goal. Carmel led 3-0 at that point. Second quarter we go is Leo Prosser, who finds the back of the Hounds here, the net there to take a 7-0 lead. Third quarter, Carmel in transition here. Mason Bardwell finds Ike Stuttle there, who scores his 3rd goal of the game. And Carmel wins it. Final score, what a game that was. 9-5, the Greyhounds getting the win in that lacrosse matchup the other night. Okay, hey, time for a break, folks. We have much more set ahead here tonight on the Zone Extra. Glad you're hanging out with us. Up next, we are breaking down all things Hamilton County High School sports. That's right, our good friend Richie Hall of the Hamilton County Reporter is here for a great conversation. Can't wait to talk to him. And still ahead, kicking the stigma. Pro athletes talking to students about taking care of their minds as well as their bodies. That story still to come.
This is the Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine.
All right, we're back here on the Zone Extra. Anthony Calhoun here with you tonight. When it comes to high school sports, Hamilton County is loaded with great teams, student athletes, and so many storylines. Here to break it all down is the sports editor of the Hamilton County Reporter, our good friend here, Richie Hall. Great seeing you as always, my friend.
Well, thanks for having me.
We were just talking about this during the break, how you got a pretty cool job, dream job. I mean, it's one thing to cover sports, but it's another thing to cover sports with good teams, and that has definitely been the case for all those schools in Hamilton County. How much do you enjoy your job?
I love it. I love it. There's always something interesting going on. We always have something like some big breaking story going on. You know, we have a ton of high school teams that always do well. We're in the spring season. It's always busy. We've got, boys golf doing well. We've got baseball, softball. That's going to be very competitive sectionals.
Yeah.
Track and field. We have the county championships this week, and we have the sectional start next week. Tennis. We have Carmel girls who are doing well. Fishers is having a great season. I think I'm trying to figure out why I'm leaving out here. Lacrosse. Yes, lacrosse. Boys volleyball.
Yeah.
Soon to be an IHSA sport. We always have lots of successful teams there, so there's just always something going on. There's never a dull moment pretty much between March and June when it comes to Hamilton County sports.
Yeah, so you're always busy. Well, we know what happened about a month ago, and it was, boy, what an incredible sight to see there. Fishers High School, the boys basketball team, winning its first ever boys basketball state championship. How special was that for the Tigers?
It's pretty amazing, especially if you consider the fact, Fishers reopened in 2006, and the old Fishers, they did win a sectional title way back in 1922, so it's been over 100 years since any Fisher school could say they won a sectional. The team itself was just amazing. It finished, I think it was 28-1, only one loss for the season.
Yeah.
Lost to Carmel. They avenged that loss in the sectional, and then won epic games against Hamilton Southeastern, their big rival. Noblesville was a close game in the sectional final. Then went to the regional, beat Kokomo and Florida Badunga. Won the semi-state, and then had to hold off Ben Davis to win state. You know, I see right there, Keenan Gardner. He is going to IU Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And he's just, you know, he was really the leader of the team. We picked him as Player of the Year. He was somebody who 2 years ago was living in Germany, wasn't playing high school basketball. He was kind of thrust into a leadership role as a senior, but it just emerged as a great powerhouse, scoring points, rebounds, really embraced that leadership role. And just really a nice kid, too.
Yeah, I want to ask you about their coach, Coach Waniger. I mean, we know the job he did at Warren Central, then, of course, he comes to Fishers, and the job he did this year as well, just incredible. Give me your thoughts about him, what he was able to do there with the Tigers.
He's a great coach, a great young coach. Kind of surprised when you see him, how young he is, and at the same time, just what knowledge he has, what experience he has. He won state at Warren Central, came into Fishers, kind of built the program, had to kind of rebuild the program, not really rebuild the program, but just kind of, mold the program into what he did.
Oh, yeah.
In his image, had some great players, and then you just kind of knew that with him and with the talent that Fishers always has every year, you're eventually going to get, the sectional championship out of that. Of course, the sectional's a pretty good accomplishment, but then they won sectional, then went all the way.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact they also have got, John Anthony Hall coming back next year. He's a junior.
Yeah, they're going to be loaded next year, too, as well, right?
Yep, the 2 freshmen,
yeah.
Gardner Jr. and Cooper Zachary. So they've got themselves set up pretty well, and I think that Garrett Waniger is the right coach for them.
Yeah, he's done a wonderful job there with Fisher. I want to talk about some other, speaking of great teams here, how about the Carmel girls swimming team? They won the state title for a national record 38th straight year. What is most impressive part of that feat from what you've seen here from these young ladies here?
Just the fact that it goes on for so long. I mean, 38 years, that's just unheard of. I mean, I remember talking to them a few years ago. They thought, when the streak started, they thought that 3 years in a row was impressive. Well, look at it now, it's 38 years. And what's really amazing is the fact that, for lack of a better term, they just reload every year. You got, you have swimmers like, I'm going to just run off names I can think of, Lacey Locke, Amy Bilquist, Claire Adams, all multiple state champions, and you're wondering what they're going to do when they graduate. Then all of a sudden, well, here comes Alex Shackle, here comes Molly Sweeney, here comes Lindsay Bowen, girls that they're just, they come as freshmen, they set new state records, they set national records, they win multiple state titles. You got to think that the way that the Carmel program is set up, you got girls right now who are in middle school who probably are going to come in 3 years and start adding their names to the legacy. I
want to ask you this real quick before we let you go here. I'm a big fan of golf, and I know what they're doing there at Guerin Catholic. They've won 2 state championships in a row, trying to make it 3. Can they do that? And just talk about the level of play of golf play we've seen when it comes to those Hamilton County teams here as they chase for a state championship.
Yeah, they absolutely can do it. Sometimes they tend to not focus on the regular season as much as state, which a lot of teams do that. But they did get a big win last week at the spring preview, beating seems like Hamel Southeastern, which was ranked #1 in the state. Westfield, Noblesville, they're both perennial top 10 teams. Carmel, Center Grove, the schools from Evansville. They graduated quite a bit last year. We had Jacob Modleski and one of the Leo Wessel, lots of Wessels at Guerin Catholic. But at the same time, they have kids back like Eli Wessel. He was one of the co-medalists last year. Shared that with Will Harvey from Westfield. You might remember from basketball.
Yeah.
He was another co-medalist. Westfield, of course, is a team to beat too. You got the Caesar boys. Noblesville's always out there. Carmel's always up there.
It's going to be good, man. Either way you look at it. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on the Zone Extra. And, of course, I know folks can read your articles as well. And you're going to stay busy. I got a good feeling you're going to be busy all the way to late June, probably.
Oh, yeah, very busy.
All right, thank you for the time. We appreciate you. Okay, so ahead here, folks. Much more coming your way on the Zone Extra tonight, including a story on professional athletes helping high schoolers understand mental health. Plus, we go on campus tonight with former Avon High School standout and new Houston Texan, Blake Fisher. That's on the way.
This is the Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine.
All right, we're back here on the Zone Extra. Anthony Calhoun here with you tonight. An Olympic swimmer and a Colts cornerback team up to discuss mental health in sports. Students came from all over Central Indiana region to hear what they had to say. News 8's Kyla Russell has the story tonight.
150 high school students got to hear how athletes at the top of their sport are kicking the stigma that surrounds mental health and athletes.
Olympic medalist Lily King once told friends winning a gold medal was the worst thing to happen to her. She said it at a time when she struggled with her mental health, a struggle she says is not unique to her.
Recognize that we're all going through similar struggles, and find your person to talk to, whether that's a friend, parent, family, a teacher, coach, mental health therapist, really anyone you can find, and just know that you're not alone.
Each panelist, including Colts cornerback Kenny Moore and swimmer Ashley Twitchell, shared their own struggles at the event. Their stories resonated with the students there.
I think it's so validating because we dream to be like they are, and to see them go through the same things we're going through just shows that we're not alone.
The student athletes heard how each of the panelists has improved their mental health and the importance of raising awareness.
Complete breakdown of the stigma. I mean, it took me a while personally to get the help I needed, and I see a lot of my friends struggling to get the help they needed because, they're scared of the stigma.
Each of the panelists emphasized the importance of asking for help when you need it. Reporting here in Indianapolis, I'm Kyla Russell for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
All right, Kyla, thank you very much. Okay, time for a break. We got more still coming your way tonight on the Zone Extra, including another edition of Ask the Commissioner with Paul Neidig of the IHSAA.
This is the Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine.
Welcome back to the Zone Extra. Now it's time to go on campus where we catch up with a former Central Indiana High School athlete. This week we are shining the light on an Avon Oriole making it to the NFL. Last month in the NFL draft, former Avon standout offensive lineman Blake Fisher was selected at the second round by the Houston Texans with the 59th overall pick. In high school, Fisher shined for the Orioles and was ranked as one of the top players in the country. As a senior, he was an Indiana Mr. Football finalist in 2020 and was named the state's top offensive lineman. Fisher played collegiately at Notre Dame and can't wait for the next chapter with the Texans, and reflected on his journey in the game to this point.
It's a blessing. I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot, man. Ups and downs of college, getting hurt freshman year, coming back. And then, just the opportunity to, play at the highest level, and then, bring my, physical, mental mentality, all that, to that O-line group, there in Houston, and, just give them what I provide.
All right, now it's time for Ask the Commissioner. Each week we take a question to IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig and bring you his answer. Here's this week's question. What makes your own mother so special, and what are some of your favorite Mother Day memories?
My mother was just a wonderful lady. She was a first grade teacher in the classroom, but I think our family always had a tradition, and it was Mother's Day, but it was also, as my kids were young, we would gather at my mother's and father's house on Sundays as a family, almost every Sunday. We'd have lunch together, and then we would have dinner together, and we often put a cookbook together later in life. It was called Twice on Sundays. And, my mother was the matriarch of our family and was able to put that together and made it a place that my kids loved going, that we could grow up in. And while Mother's Day was certainly special, oftentimes the cooking and the cleaning would be taken over by others. But it was really Mother's Day every Sunday in my family growing up, especially with my grandkids or my kids. And it was just a place that was comfortable and fun to go to for our kids as they grew up. So twice on Sunday at my mother and father's house was pretty special.
I always love hearing from the commissioner. He gives us his wonderful insight every time he's here on the Zone Extra. Hey, if you have some questions for the commissioner, don't forget to submit your questions. Send us a tweet or use the hashtag there, the Zone Extra, and also the hashtag there, Ask the Commish. And who knows, your question may be right here on this show. Folks, thank you so much for watching the Zone Extra. I'm Anthony Calhoun. We've got 2 more shows to go before we come to an end here on the Zone Extra, but it's going to be a lot of fun once again coming up next week. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you back here next week, same time, same place, same station.